Hello everyone, welcome to this Android Dagger tutorial. In this video I will be showing you how to create Dagger dependency graph, and then inject those dependencies into your activities and fragments. So first we will be creating an empty project. This is the project. It just has a main activity and its layout. So first we will begin by creating a app component. So we'll create a new class called app component. This will be an interface. So this will be the root of our Dagger graph. And to use Dagger we have to first include the dependencies, Dagger dependencies. So we'll go into our app level build.gradle file and we will add these three dependencies, and then we'll click sync now. Once you have done that, your project is ready to use Dagger. So the interface which we just created, we will annotate it with component, and we also want it to be a singleton. Now this app component, it can have modules. So for now we will have just one module, which will be Android injection module. And this will be extending Android injector, the interface. And this will be taking an application. Then we'll be making a component builder using the component builder annotation. So here we will be binding the application which will be just creating in a while. We will be binding that application. And then another build function which will return the app component instance. Now our component is ready. Now we will create the application class. So I'll call it base application. Now instead of extending with regular application, we will extend it with Dagger application. Here we are using Dagger application instead of the regular application because it takes care of a lot of boilerplate code. It reduces a lot of boilerplate code. If you are not extending with Dagger application, then you have to implement the method has Android injector and then inject dispatching Android injector into your application, and then return that dispatching Android injector from the interface method. And if you are extending Dagger application, you have to implement a method. So we'll implement it. So now this method should return Android injector. Android injector is nothing but our app component. So we'll go to the base application. So from here we will return the app component, implementation of the app component. This app component is just an interface, so we need the implementation of it. So whenever you create an app component, the implementation of that component will be available as Dagger and the component name which you gave. So in my case it's Dagger app component dot builder dot application. Now here we will pass the application, this application, and then finally we'll call build. And also in the app component we have to change the type to base application, which we just created. Okay, so this is done. Now we can see a lint error here which says that the base application is not registered in the manifest. So we'll go to the manifest and we'll register the application. So now that lint error should be gone. Yeah. So now our app component is ready, and now we can start adding modules to our app component. So for example, I will be creating a test module. So let's create a test module. Since it is a module, we will be annotating it with module. And now we want to create a function which will provide us a object. Now launch details object, it is not created yet, we will create it now. So we'll say create class launch details. Actually we can just go here and then we'll create class launch details. This will be a class. Let's make it a data class which will just hold one field, and that is a long field, and it will store the launch timestamp. Okay, so our object class is ready. So we this method will provide an object of type launch details, and we will create the object here, and we will store the launch time. And since this method is going to provide, we have to use the provides annotation. Also we want to make it JVM static and singleton, because we want the same launch time across all our activities and fragments. Please remember, this is just an example launch time. From here you can return any type of class or object which you want, from here. So now this test module needs to be added in the Dagger app component. So now in our graph, object of type launch details will be available, and in whichever activity or fragment we want, we can ask Dagger to give us the launch details object and we'll get it. Another step which we have to do is to mark our activity as injectable. So for that we will create a activity builder module. This will be a module, and this will be an abstract class. Now here we have to mark all our activities which can be injected by Dagger. So I'll use the annotation contributes under injector, and then we can give your abstract fun bind main activity, and here we'll return main activity. And this module has to also be included in our app component. So this module basically tells Dagger that this activity can be injected. Now we have the main activity here. Suppose here we want the launch details, so we can just do okay. So now to mark an activity injectable, instead of extending it via app compat activity, we will extend it via Dagger app compat activity. So now this says that our activity is injectable. So now we do inject. Here we want our launch details object. So let's say launch. So here we will get our launch details object, Dagger is going to give us the object, and then we can access the launch details, this object here. So in my case, we just have a text view here. I will set the launch timestamp in this text view. Is it tv.text equals to launch details dot toString. So now this should work. So we'll test it on our emulator. So now as you can see, we have got the launch details object. I think we have printed the entire object. Yeah. So we just need the launch timestamp. Yeah. So this will be an epoch actually. So this number which is here, it's an epoch. So now if we run this again, we will just get the timestamp. So as you can see, we have got the timestamp here. So this was a short tutorial on how to inject dependencies into your activities. In the next video, I'll show you how to inject dependencies into your fragments. So thanks for watching and stay tuned.